Hello, it's Matthew from Rosie and Rosie, investment property specialists helping you invest in property with confidence. It's the first week of December 2020 and this is our last property market update for the calendar year. As you may have heard yesterday, the RBA met again and announced the cash rate is unchanged, which means the rate will remain at 0.1% until at least the start of February 2021. We often get asked how the cash rate affects interest rates. And to put it simply, the cash rate is the interest rate at which banks borrow money. So when the cash rate goes up or down, as is the case for the last few years, lenders generally pass on those either increased costs if the cash rate is lifted or the savings if the cash rate is reduced. So a low cash rate is actually a reflection of a weak economy. So the RBA hopes that lenders pass on the savings in the hope that borrowers will spend more money or refinance and have more money to spend and stimulate the economy. Now, the opposite, increasing the cash rate, is used to slow the economy down. And it's been a while since we've had that problem. It's hard to remember the last time that was the case. I do know, but if you know too, perhaps comment below. But yeah, with the cash rate being so low and interest rates being so low, and with the state and federal government incentives on the table, it was unsurprising to read in this month's CoreLogic report that Adelaide has set a new record average house price for the month, historic average price. It's now just under $460,000, and that's after an increase of 1.3% for November. Brisbane, Hobart and Canberra also record new record high average property prices. In the last few days and weeks, there has been several announcements to do with the federal government HomeBuilder Scheme. Last week we heard the time from signing a contract to build a new home to construction actually starting on that home has been extended to 6 months from 3 months, which is quite a sensible change. And earlier this week we heard that the current incentive, which is $25,000 for building a new home or an extensive renovation of more than $150,000, will end at the end of the year, but it will continue, but will reduce to $15,000 from the 1st of January 2021. So if you're interested in collecting the grant, either pre or post 2020, give me a call. The sooner the better today if you need to pick up that $25,000 as time is running out quickly. Lastly, I also just wanted to share a reflection that I've had this week, which I think may resonate with some people, especially if you own or have owned an investment property, and found that the income generated by the rent doesn't cover all of the associated costs with owning that property. So you've got your loan repayments, your insurances, your council rates, strata levies, possibly, land taxes, management fees. All of these are part and parcel of property ownership, and most of those are easily budgeted for. You know they're going to be expenses that you need to incur while you're holding that investment property. Maintenance, however, is a little less predictable, and it's often a reason for many investors to consider selling their investment property. When you have a new hot water service last month, and then a new oven this month, and then next month it's the air conditioning unit. It all adds up and it's all inconvenient, but it's all absolutely necessary if you want to keep renting that property. Now, each of those is a few $100s, and it is easy to fall into the trap of, oh look, I'll just sell the home and be done with it. It's too hard. The reality is most investment properties will cost you more than the rent that is currently coming in for a period of time. So before you start thinking about selling, just consider this. Properties do age, and as the owner, you need to maintain them. Thankfully, most of these expenses don't come around every year. When you replace a hot water service, you would expect to get 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 years out of that hot water service. And you've got warranty periods on new appliances, and often you can depreciate some of these items. Speak to your accountant about what tax advantages there might be to making these improvements. Don't, for the sake of a few $100, sell an asset which might be growing in value by several $1,000s each year. While the return might be lower than the cost of holding it right now, hopefully it is going up in value, in capital value. You don't want to be looking back in years from now thinking, I should have held on to that property. That few $100s has cost me tens of thousands of dollars in capital growth. So yeah, it's not uncommon for your investment property to cost you more than it generates in rent. Speak to your accountant, because you should be able to claim the loss against your taxable income. And if you're getting a tax return, remember, it's not because you've been a good boy or a good girl, it's because you've paid too much tax. It's a tax return because the tax man is returning the tax you paid in addition to what you needed to pay. So ask your accountant about a PAYGWV, a pay-as-you-go withholding variation. It's a simple form that you fill out and you give to your employer, and it authorises them to take less tax out of your pay, meaning you get more cash in your pocket each pay cycle. The flip side of that is that you get less or zero tax return at the end of the financial year. But the way I think about it is, unless the tax man is going to give you back the money you lent it during the year with some interest, it's better off in your pocket, where you can make it work harder for you by paying down your mortgage or paying off your credit cards or for that unexpected maintenance. Anyway, that's it from me. I think if you're interested in catching up for a coffee or a beer, give me a call or shoot me a message. Thank you for watching. Remember, there's only 3 weeks until Christmas. If I don't see or speak to you beforehand, please enjoy a break with family and friends. Hopefully some vertical consumption, COVID permitting. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, be safe. I'm Matthew from Rosie and Rosie, helping you invest in property with confidence.